Hey, what's up? Neil here. I'd like to show a quick demo of using Docker containers. And I'd like to show the benefits of using containers. I'm going to give one example why they are very useful. An example would be, for example, a software or a tool which is only available in the Windows operating system, and you need that tool to run in, for example, Linux. I'm on Debian, it's a Linux distro, and I'm just showing an edge case scenario, and this really won't happen. But I'd like to show the power of Docker containers, all right? Again, I'd like to say, because I was confused back in the days about Dockers, I always say, hey, how do I build Dockers? No, you don't ask that question. Docker is the tool. When you write Docker in a small letter D, you are referring to the Docker utility or the Docker tool. Like, for example, Docker -v, right? So what I'm doing here is I'm running the Docker tool or Docker utility, which is the binary ex- executable that the Docker company built. The big Docker, like this, is the company name, the company that built the Docker tool, and then the, how do you call this, the processes or process is where, I mean, the processes is actually installed in the container, and you use Docker to build containers. Okay? Right now, I don't have any containers running. You use Docker space PS to show all the processes of containers that are running. But I might have tons of Docker containers here already that are in offline mode. You use -A to show them. There you go. So these are all offline at the moment. And what's this thing? I was just using this. This is what I'm gonna demo today. And we know Notepad is a Windows utility for writing text, like TextPad, right? Notepad is very well known, a very well known software for Microsoft Windows. Again, I am on Linux. So in order to run a tool meant for another operating system, what do you do? Sometimes you use Wine, right? Wine is a Windows emulator. And that's what I use today to build the Docker image. And you use Docker image to show all the images that you will, Docker images, that you will use to create the Docker container. And I just built this in order for me to run the software that is meant for Windows but inside a Linux environment. And I did that by creating a Docker file. Okay, it's using Wine to build the software, but later once we run it, once we execute it, we should see the installer like what I mentioned here, and let's hope it's gonna run. So what I'm doing here is I'm telling the Docker container that when it starts, please execute this command. Okay, so it's gonna run Wine, and then it's gonna use the Debian image, the Docker image. So let us run the Docker command to build the Docker container. This is the Docker image. As you see here, this is the command to launch a Docker container. Okay? And then what else? This is just the variable that is used by X Windows. I don't need to go into details, but I just want to show you that this tool is going to run on my Linux environment. So let's press enter key so we can get started. So it's gonna launch and create a container using the Docker utility. Okay, again, you don't say, how do I create a Docker? No, it's not. Docker is the utility. When you ask, you should ask, how do I create a Docker container? So you can prepend the word Docker before the word container, or you can just say, how do I create a container? So right now, wine is executing, okay, and then it's gonna launch the Notepad installer, so we can install it. Let's hope it's going to run. I'm not sure yet. We'll find out soon. There you go. So this is a classic software for Windows installer, right? That's what it is. See? This is really cool. I'm on Linux, but this is a Windows software. I hope it runs. We'll see. Because sometimes it crashes. I agree. What is this thing copying? Blah blah blah. I can use the scroll on my mouse. Okay, I don't know if we can find the word Windows here or Microsoft. GNU. Yeah, that's how you pronounce it. GNU. Yeah. Notepad++. Anyways, let's click I agree. Oh, program files. I remember. I have not been using Windows since 2009. So it's been a while. But yeah, I was crazy about Windows before. I have many certifications. I'm an MCP, Microsoft Certified Professional. I also have another certification, which is MCSE, Microsoft Certified Systems Engineer, but those are all expired. I did a lot of server configuration back in the days, Microsoft Exchange, Microsoft IIS, but yeah, I love Linux. I love FreeBSD, so Windows is okay. Yeah. All right, let's install it. Yeah, so nice to see this again after like 14 years. Great shortcut on desktop install. So it's gonna install. It's working. Yay, it's installed. Run. Open. Okay, let's run. Finish. It failed. It failed, dude. It failed. But anyways, I was just showing a very edge case example of what Docker containers can do. All right. So what happened here? Wine saved in root. Make sure NTLM auth greater than 3 is in your path. Oh, maybe I'm not. Let's see. What is that NTLM? No NTLM support. I have no freaking clue what NTLM is. Let's see. Let's do some search. Appcast search. I don't know if it's a Debian. No, it's not. I have no idea. So one thing I usually do if I can't find it on my local machine, I'll just usually use Google search here. I think if we run the Docker again, it's gonna fail. Let's see. Ah, it's installing it again. That's crap. Failed to marshal the interface. Yeah. But anyways, again, I was just showing an example of an edge case scenario where you can run a Windows service. Usually, you know what? As much as possible, we don't run like GUI interfaces on in Docker containers. We usually use containers for running services. For example, a web service, right? It's installing it again. Let's cancel. That's not gonna work. I was just showing an example. Docker hello world, Docker run hello world. Is there such thing? Yeah, some folks, some people have. Does not exist. Hello world. Maybe there's a dash. Oh, there you go. It ran. So I was missing. So here's the power of Docker containers. There are tools. Let's say, for example, you cannot install on your machine, but you need to run it on your machine. Some of them will be available in Docker Hub. Okay, and then this hello world here is a Docker image. So if you remember, I ran Docker images earlier. These are some of the tools that I'm using. For example, untrunk. I'm using untrunk image, Docker image, if I want to fix a corrupted MP4 file. Let's see if I have untrunk here in the Unix history. Yeah, there you go. So these are some of the commands I ran before. This is the bad file, and this is the good file. What it will do is it will launch untrunk using Docker, and then I'm mounting /tmp moves directory. I don't know if the directory still exists. Let's see. No, it's not. Doesn't exist anymore. I placed it there before, but then it's gone since, when you reboot the machine, sometimes it deletes everything under the tmp directory. But going back, untrunk is a Docker image made available by someone, and then I can use it to fix my files, my corrupted MP4 files or move files, provided I have a good working move file with the same FPS and resolution. I think that's one of the requirements. It should have the same frames per second, and the resolution. Yeah, I remember that. And then what else? I'm running Nginx here. If let's say I want to run a web server locally for testing, I can run a basic Nginx, which can listen. Let's see. History pipe grep docker pipe grep Nginx. Okay. Docker log my Nginx. Docker stop. Docker run name. Nginx base. Okay, this is a good example. Minus the name. All right. Let's see. Docker. I'm gonna run Nginx. Nginx is a web server application. It is a software that is used by companies if, let's say, they want to provide their presence on the internet, or let's say they want to publish their products via a website. Okay, so I'm gonna show you an example here. Let's create a directory, make their let's call it my website. cd my website, and then let's create a basic index file. Do I still remember this coding? I have not been coding HTML for like 8 years now. Let's see. A body. We'll just make a basic one. I don't remember coding anymore, but I think this will work. My visual memory still recalls these letters and text. Okay. H1 for heading. My test website running inside a Docker container. You have to close it, okay? And then H3 for smaller letter. This is Neil trying to hack a small web page for demo purposes /H3. Okay, does it look good? Yeah, it looks good. One more. Oops, what happened? I'm using VI, by the way. H3. This is Linux website link. H3. And then we're gonna add href. Okay, it's an HTML reference. Oh wow, I still remember it. It's coming back. Okay, https www.linux.org, and then you have to enclose this with /a. Right, bada bing, bada bim. Okay, I think it's gonna work. I think so. All right, perfect. I think it will work with curl. I don't know. We'll see. It can't. How come it cannot see it? Curl index that maybe I have to type. I was pressing tab key. Could not resolve. Maybe we have to put file. Could not. Anyways, rejected bad file. It's okay. So now let's execute, or let's launch a website that will serve this directory. And let's see, history again. And then we'll use this one. And then we're gonna run the web server on port 888. Okay, internally, the container will run on TCP port 80, but outside, on my local host, on my machine, it's gonna run on port 8888. And then, I forgot the directory where, oh, there you go. This is what we need, okay? So, this -v here is meant for mapping a local directory to an internal directory. By default, Nginx uses this directory to serve the default file that they provided in the Docker image. Let's override it so that we can serve the website that we built, which is index.html. I'm gonna put here -v. I'm gonna put here the TMP, and then what is it? My website? Where is it? Yeah, my website. Yeah, this one. My website. And then we're gonna map this folder. Okay, wrong word. Folder. When you say folder, that's a Microsoft terminology, and I am on Linux. We use directory. Yeah, no, I mean, all right. Let's see if it's gonna run. Okay. So it's showing that it didn't show any error, now we can execute docker ps to show the processes. Earlier when we ran this command, there was no output. There you go, it's running. My God, this is good. All right. So docker ps was successful. It is showing the the website that we just built, and it's gonna listen on port 8888. Okay. So what we need to do is I need to grab a browser. All right, guys, I'm back. So here we are showing that our website is running successfully, right? So earlier we were testing the curl on index and it was failing, right? But now we're gonna use the same command, curl, but we are going to talk to the local host on port 8888. And we should see the website that we built. Oh, we did not override it. We're still using the old one. I have to figure out how to properly map it. So this is still the default web page, and I failed to override it. So we'll see why. var HTML. This is how we can debug it. Because remember, we have an index HTML here, and then our Docker run, we tried to map this folder into var www.html, but it failed. Okay? What we can do is, let's do this instead. Let's terminate this container, so that way we don't get confused with this mapping that we created. I'm gonna kill it. We're stopping it. Yeah, my machine is from 2009 and it's very slow. So we're stopping the nginx container and we're gonna terminate it by running docker rm. Okay, now we don't have any more process like that. It's gone, right? Let's recreate it, but we will remove the HTML mapping right here. Then this should launch a very basic nginx without any mapping. So we're gonna see the same page here. Okay, it's running, right? You can use curl to prove it. It's running. But now, to debug it, I'll have to use the parameter exec. We will go inside the container so that we can find out where the index.html is located, and then we will override that one. All right, docker exec minus it nginx base, and then maybe bash. There you go, we're in. Okay, we'll find out here. What is the entry point? Cat. We are debugging now. I don't know what the company did. The company that made the Docker image, sorry, the nginx image. So we will have to do some debugging. All right, not that one. So normally it's placed in /var, and then we'll do an ls var, maybe run, ls run. Nope, nothing. Another way, which is gonna take some time, is using the find command. What about var lib, ls lib? Appam, nope, it's not there. Okay, let's do it this way. cd / let's go to the root of the container, find / minus name html, or maybe index.html. So what I'm doing here is, oh, there you go, I found it. Oh, there you go, that's the one that we need to override. Okay, so this thing here, welcome to nginx, is actually in this file. Let's use the cat command and you'll see. See, I ran cat welcome to Nginx. There you go. Welcome to Nginx. I don't know if I modified. I don't know if there's a vi command here. Let's hope there is. Oh, there's none. What about, what is this though? What Unix is running? It's Debian app install vi. Unable to locate vi. App update. So what I'm doing, I'm trying to update the container, specifically the Debian running inside the container. There you go. I don't know if we'll be able to install vim. There you go, it's now available. Earlier it was failing, right? So you have to run up update. And we should be able to run vi soon. And then I'll be able to update the index.html. I just want to show you how that file is related. This one. Okay, now it's related. Okay. And also, you know what? I'm gonna copy this. This is much more better. No. I won't copy it yet because I want to show you that our original code is gonna work. Welcome to Nginx, Neil. Yeah, I think it's gonna work. Let's refresh this. There you go, Neil. All right. Anyways, this is the directory that we need to override. This directory. Okay. I'm gonna exit out of the container. We will kill the container. Docker stop and Nginx base. And then we will look for the docker run command that we had earlier, that we ran earlier. And then docker rm Nginx base. Okay, now that's deleted. Now let's look for a docker run. This one is wrong. Are we in the right folder? Yes, we are. This one is wrong because this is what we found. This one. All right. Now let's change the port to 9999 so that way I can show you that this is really different. Okay. So what I'm doing here is I'm mapping port 999 to port 80. Let's make a different window so that way you can see. Oops. Let's make it smaller because we don't need a big one because the text that I put is in the index.html is small. HTTP colon localhost colon 9999, right? Why 9999? Because here we launch the container on port 9999. So there you go. Once we press enter, see, remember this thing that I typed earlier? Here, cat index.html. My test website running inside a Docker container. It's the same, right? H1. And these are H3s, these two lines. And then the href here is the linux.org. If I click this, it's going to open up that link, linux.org. Okay, there you go. And then right now, port 888, it's dead because we killed it, right? However, since it's running on a different port 8888, we can launch it again. Yeah, this. Oh, there's a conflict. Why? Oh, Nginx space, yeah. Nginx 8888. There you go. Or Neil. Doesn't matter. It's just a name. Okay? It was saying that, hey, you already have a container named Nginx base. You should make it different. So I named it Nginx base Neil. That's just a name. If we execute docker ps, you'll see two processes here. Nginx base and the Nginx nil base. One is running on port 888 and the other one is running on port 999. Now we can refresh this. Of course, this will be gone because remember I manually modified index.html inside a container earlier. That will be gone. There you go. So yeah, that's the power of Docker containers. This is just basic, and I use containers a lot at work for deploying different services like Nginx, and then we serve applications for several airlines like Alaska, United Airlines. That's what I do, and we're serving a website for the passengers so that they can buy internet passes, so they can browse the internet while flying in the plane. Okay. Yeah. So, guys, if you have any questions about Docker containers, if you want more of these, if you want me to talk about different stuff like hacking, or maybe if you want me to talk about like GitLab or Git repositories, anything, web development or DevOps, I can talk about that here. But yeah, so that's the power of Docker containers, and it's been really useful for testing purposes. Alrighty, guys, that's all I wanted to share. Hopefully, you enjoyed this session. I know it's out of my it's not related to my channel, although this channel was made in 2010 maybe, and I said and the topics that I'll be posting in my channel will be random, and for the past 5 years it's all been related to the FPV drones. But back in the days, I was posting things about hacking. Some of the things I've posted my visit to DEF CON, which is a hacking conference, and then I've also created some demo of hacking. Photography, yeah, those are the things I love. So, anyways, guys, yeah, just let me know. All right. Hopefully, you enjoyed this session. And if you want more, just let me know. Comment in the comment below, and then I'll provide more tutorials. Alrighty, guys. Later.